Well, if it's Wednesday morning, you know it is time for another episode of the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. I appreciate you being here today. And as we do every Wednesday, is we bring in our trademark attorney, Susana Mahady from the law offices of Susana Mahady, and we talk about trademark issues. And today we are talking, actually, you know what? First of all, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone.
And I got to ask you, because we are in the season, have you finished your Christmas shopping?
Finished or started?
You and me both.
We work best under pressure, right? So
That's right. That's right. That's what FedEx is for. Is like get that
exactly.
order on the 23rd and get that on the 24th. Wrap it up. In fact,
It makes you more efficient, right? Like,
Yeah.
you just get it done because you know you have to, and it's quick, and that way you don't stress about it for months.
So today we're talking about the top 10 trademark mistakes small business owners make. And you know what? In this is only a 10-minute nugget of information, and we've already taken up 1 minute. So let's jump right into it. What are the top 10 trademark mistakes small business owners make?
Okay, I'll try to get to 1 minute each. So, or less now. So the first one is naming your corporation or your LLC using your name, but not registering the trademark. And so that, I believe we spoke about that in one of my earlier sessions. You know, just having your name registered with your Secretary of State doesn't give you any legal rights to the name. Second one is registering the trademark, but not securing the domain name or the social media profiles or URL, anything like that, because other people can then use those profiles or social media, that name in social media circles that could impact your business because
Well,
they're going to.
and if I recall, there was a very famous rock band from the 70s who did not get into the internet before someone else acquired their domain name.
Yeah, and then
And
having to fight for it gets expensive.
yeah, they actually had to sue the person that,
Right.
hey, we own the trademark to the name of our band. And it's like someone registering Coca-Cola before
Right.
they did.
Right.
Okay.
And then you'd have to probably pay a big price for it to try to get it back. Okay. The third one is choosing a name that's too generic or descriptive. Again, it basically increases the risk that your name, your application will be denied or rejected by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. And many times people will invest in creating that brand and think that because that this name is what they've used, that even though it's super generic, that it's gonna get through the examining attorney, and it might not. And so then you'd have to rebrand. Okay, fourth, not registering the trademark at all because you think your name is unique and you just assume that no one else is going to use it. But we have to remember that just this year alone, they had over 780,000 applications for trademarks. So I believe worldwide it was something like 18 million. So there are a lot of variations of names, and you might think yours is unique, but you never know. And that's why it's important to do a search and registration.
So what happens if you start a business, you think the business is named unique, and someone else trademarks your name?
Well, then you are limited. Remember, you have common law rights to your name, but it's limited to just your geographic area. And so if you use, your business only in that small space, then you might be okay. The problem is that with the internet, we're crossing state lines, and you really are limited in your growth. And so somebody could be using that name somewhere else, have priority rights over you, and it just creates a lot of conflict. So it's best to not be associated with somebody else that's not your business.
Excellent. I think we did number 4. We're moving on to number 5.
Number 5, not doing a thorough, comprehensive search of your mark before you register. There's a couple of things. Obviously, you don't want to be going forward with an application and paying fees towards something that may not get through. It might get rejected, and then you don't get your money back, and you have to kind of start all over, or you have to rebrand if you've been using that mark and have to spend the money in remarketing a different name. The other thing is you might be infringing on somebody else's mark and you don't even know it. So it's better to know up front and have a good comprehensive search done. Okay. Number 6, not using a trademark attorney to help you. And I think that's a big problem. You might find a lot of businesses online that will trademark, help you do your trademark for, I don't know, $99 or something silly. But the problem is that they're not lawyers. They're just filling out forms, which you can do yourself on the Patent and Trademark Office website. Problem is that if there's a problem, because remember, the people that are reviewing your application are attorneys, they're examining attorneys. So they might have questions or issues that they can't help you with. So you would probably be best served having a lawyer that can respond and make sure that your application gets through.
And speaks the language.
Yes.
Yeah, because I would assume there's some intricacies in the trademark law that your typical small business owner doesn't know, and someone who knows the language is going to be able to get that through. When you've got attorneys talking to each other, it seems to work a little better.
Right. And the requirements, this is all statutory, right? It's all based on federal law. And so there are interpretations and nuances that most lay people may not know. That's why we went to law school to help you, not for you to have to figure it out yourself. So
are we at 7 or 8?
7.
It's number 7.
Not registering in proper classes. So you should know that there are 45 different classes or categories for to apply or to submit your trademark application. So these define your goods or your services. And so you might submit an application under one class, say the class that pertains to clothing, but you're also selling other things like mugs and things, and you don't protect that class. You think you're protected in everything, and you're not. And so most people wouldn't know that. They need to understand that there are different classes depending on the category of merchandise or services that you're providing. Okay. Number 8, not using your registered trademark. And so once you register your trademark, you do have an obligation to make sure that it's active, that you're using it in commerce. And so many people will just maybe submit an application, get trademarked, and then just not stop using the brand. Well, if somebody else wants to use that name and sees that you're no longer active, or it's not being kept up or registered, or the post-registration applications aren't being done, then they could try to challenge that, and they could be abandoned if somebody challenges that.
All right. Number 9.
So number 9 would be not maintaining your trademark, and that kind of coincides with the last one, because you do have to take steps to make sure that your trademark doesn't expire. After 5 years, you have to submit a new re-registration, and then you have to do another one, after 9 years, and then every 10 years. So there are deadlines that you have to meet to make sure that your trademark is being maintained and you don't risk being canceled.
And finally, number 10, should we add? No, we don't have drum. I was going to ask for a drum roll.
I was just going to say, no drum rolls.
No drum rolls. Number 10.
Number 10.
The top 10 trademark mistakes small business owners make. Here's number 10.
You don't monitor your trademark. And so just because you have it registered and you're using it, it doesn't mean that you don't have an obligation to make sure that it's protected, that other people aren't using it. So there are watch services that many attorneys provide where they kind of keep an eye out for you. And so they'll be able to keep checking to see if there's any applications that are being submitted that are similar to your mark, or any registrations, or if somebody's just out there using it that may be affecting your business, right? They may be using your brand that in ways that are not consistent with your services or your values or your business.
Right. I think we talked about this off the air last week, that years and years ago, I had created a very, very small business, and I gave it a name, and it actually turned out that someone had already trademarked that name. And it was the person who, instead of receiving an email from a trademark attorney, it was the person who actually owned the trademark reached out to me and says, hey, you can't use that name. And I quickly changed the name of that business, monitoring your business. And that's apparently what she had done. Was she did an internet search on her business, and my website came up. So
No, I mean, I think it's good to do that, and you can just do regular searches. But there are also there are services that kind of sweep through, the Secretary of State websites in case somebody registers, a corporation or an LLC, and not necessarily registers it with the Secretary or with the Patent and Trademark Office. So it could be ways of using your name in other than just in a trademark application. So it's good to keep an eye out.
Susana, we did the top 10 within our 10-minute nugget of information. If someone wanted to reach out to you regarding trademark law or talk about the 10 mistakes that small business owners make, how can they get a hold of Susana Mahady?
Well, they can always find me through my website, which is www.mahadylaw.com. That's MAHADYLAW.com, or you can always email me directly at smahady@mahadylaw.com.
That's Susana Mahady. She's trademark attorney, and we do this every Wednesday morning live on Facebook. You can watch the videos on YouTube and LinkedIn. You can listen to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. In any event, Susana, appreciate it, and start your Christmas shopping. We'll do this again next week.
Got 3 more weeks, right?
That's
2
it.
more weeks. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.